Good morning, friends. Welcome to goonlinetrainings.com. So yesterday we spoken about why cloud and what are the environments we have in the cloud and how to deal with the cloud. We understood. And today we are going to be talking about what is ETL and what is ELT, what is private cloud, what is public cloud, what is hybrid cloud, and what is data engineering. So even though one of the student asked now, even though SSIS is there, why is that still people are not able to use SSIS? Because that is the existing and on-premises ETL software. Why Microsoft is introduced ADF, right? That was a story. Uh, that is a question asked by, I think, Swapna. I will clarify and I will record that as well. Okay. So this is the example I have given. So on premises versus on cloud. So yesterday, people who missed this class, this video been recorded and uploaded in my YouTube channel, Bhaskar Jogi channel. Please go and subscribe my channel, and so that today's video also will get uploaded there as well. So what is a cloud and what is on premises? I have given explanation clearly in yesterday's class. And cloud means online, and which is a cheaper. That is the reason why every companies today is using cloud services. Clear? So no company wanted to maintain their infrastructure. No company wanted to maintain their hardware, software in their own infrastructure. Instead of that, they are going to be going for the rental infrastructures, rental hardware, rental software. They're going to be going because it is cheaper. Only this is the reason, and more cheaper, and it is online. And security wise also, you need not to worry. You need not worry about it because Microsoft is dealing with your cloud, right? Microsoft is a big brand. Amazon is going to be dealing with your data. So Amazon is going to be hiring the servers and everything. So do you think that Amazon is going to be compromising security? Answer is no. And you can also scale. The scaling means if you wanted to upgrade or you wanted to have some more servers, already have 100 servers, and I wanted to add 50 more servers. If you have your own infrastructure, you have to buy the server. Each server will not be less price, right? You cannot get at the less price. You need to buy the servers and you need to configure them. You need to buy extra hardware, networking equipments. It will take very much, so much of a budget, so much of a time it will include. You will not be able to scale. Tomorrow, I don't want to use, let us say, 150 servers I'm currently using, but afterward, the sales is completely down. You only use 70 servers, scale up and scale down. Clear? So what should I do remaining 80 servers? Because I purchased 150 servers today. Now I don't have that much of a business. Now I don't know what to do with those servers. Clear? So all these things will be giving you a big difficulty, and hardware is a perishable item. That means what? After 5-10 years you cannot use the same hardware, right? Again, you need to buy the new servers. You have to migrate them. Big issues when you're maintaining your own servers and own infrastructures. No company today wanted to. No companies wanted to maintain their own infrastructure. That means they don't want to go into on-premises kind of a stuff. Many companies are migrating their data from on-premises to the cloud environment. Cloud means on online platform, online portal. So rental, and it is online. Online means internet based. The simple example is your OTT platforms are nothing but web-based applications, or you can say cloud-based applications, right? Every month rental you need to pay so that you can watch all the movies, right? OTT platform, or even your youtube.com is also cloud platform. So you can watch everything in the online. So whenever you need it, you simply go. The beauty is that you need not install anything locally. YouTube.com, simply go to youtube.com, you can get it. OTT, simply you go to hotstar.com or netflix.com, you can get it. So internet based, nothing need to be installed at the client machines. So everything is online. It is cheaper every month. Subscription amount you need to pay so that you will be able to use any cloud platform, any platform that you wanted to use it today. So we have different varieties of clouds are available. One is a private cloud. The next one is public cloud. Then we have a hybrid cloud. What do I mean by private cloud? Private cloud means, let us say one company is there. Let us say, you have an insurance company is there. They don't want to give complete data to the Microsoft, right? So Microsoft Azure is there, Microsoft, AWS cloud is there, or Google cloud is there. This company wanted to maintain their own servers, their own cloud environment. They don't want to take the rental platform. Clear? They think that it is very, very difficult for them. So they are not compromising a lot of things. They wanted to say that they wanted to take and maintain a cloud platform for themselves. Clear? So they will be able to have a lot of data centers. So they maintain their own cloud. Cloud means not only single server, right? Multiple servers. And this, they will create and they will maintain. And this is not for the rental purpose. This is what is called private cloud. Clear? It is a big setup, big data centers they're going to be running and maintaining, and they don't give for the rental purpose. It is for their to use it. For example, government of US wanted to store their data in their own servers. What they do, they'll build a private setup and they're going to be using it as a cloud. Cloud means it is completely online. It will be somewhere else, and you can go and you will be able to store your data in your own company's data or own government data. You can have it, so nobody can get it for rental. This is what is called private cloud. Clear? Then I wanted to talk about next cloud, that is public cloud. So what is the meaning? In the public cloud, I wanted to here we have Azure, right? So or we have AWS, or we have GCP, Google Cloud Platform, where they have a lot of data centers all over the world. It may be Azure platform, it may be AWS platform, it may be GC. So it is not for them to use it, it is for the public to use it. Clear? So they create the clouds and everything, and you simply go, you will be able to get the rental service, rental clouds every month. Rental amount you need to pay based on your usage. Clear? So Azure is a public cloud, or AWS is a public cloud. So public cloud means anybody can go and use it. Every month rental amounts you need to pay. This is what is called public cloud. The next one is called, we're talking about a hybrid model. Clear? So a company is there, a company, let us say ICICI Bank, wanted to maintain their own cloud. So they have a private cloud they have built. Clear? So they have a lot of servers, they would like to use it. But some of the data, they can also take it, and it is not very important data for them. So that kind of a data, they can go and keep them in your Google Cloud or Azure Cloud, or in some other public cloud. Some of the data is available in the private, they're maintaining their own servers and their own cloud, they're maintaining. And some of the data, they can also keep it here, which is not essential that they need not maintain that. So that kind of a data they may be keeping it here. It is your final decision what kind of a data I can maintain myself, or if I don't have a confidence, or I have too much of a data, I cannot migrate very easily. It's very complex, so I cannot migrate. If you think like that, you can maintain your own servers, your own cloud you can maintain. That is what is called private. Or you can also take, if you don't have that kind of a capability capacity, you can also go to public and you can hire the machines, or you can maintain private and public. Both of them are called hybrid. Clear? hybrid infrastructure, you can have it. So that is also possible. So these kind of three things are currently available. So Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, lot of clouds are available. All this comes under public cloud environments. Am I clear? So that is what you got to understand today. Clear? So what kind of a infrastructure we are going to be talking about today? It is completely public cloud when we're talking about Azure, right? So Azure, it is not a single service or a single app is going to be installed. Azure is going to be giving you 200 apps. That is what I discussed clearly in yesterday's class. Please look into that. Okay. Now, one question I wanted to address today is that even though SSIS is there, why ADF, right? So this is also on-premises ETL tool by Microsoft. So ETL tool means extract the data, transform the data, load the data into the data warehousing system. Even though this kind of ETL tools were there, why ADF is being introduced, right? So as I told you yesterday, in 2005, we got the first ETL tool, that is SSIS. So it is part of MSBI, and the cloud is introduced into the market in 2006. The first cloud was AWS. Then later Azure released, right? Azure got created, so, and released into the market in year 2010. Clear? So this ETL tool, which is created earlier, which is not going to support Azure kind of a destination, right? So this is completely on premises. On premises means you need to buy it and you need to install it. You must use it. But this is not useful to deal with the cloud sources or cloud destinations. It has a lot of limitations. Clear? And during 2005, this time we do not have a lot of other social media platforms, like you don't have a Twitter, you don't have, we are not focusing much more on the unstructured, semi-structured, that kind of a data. So SSIS is morely towards structured data. Structured data means it is going to be a business data. Business data means we are going to be storing the data in the tables. Tables means all the data will be there in the SQL or in the data warehousing. Clear? So what normally we were doing it, so any company wanted to perform data analytics earlier. So what normally they do? So you go to, let us say, SBI company, or you go to ICICI Bank company. They wanted to analyze their data. So what kind of a data they have? They may have data in Excel, or they may have data in a flat file, or they may have a data in some kind of a SQL. So what we were doing earlier, you get the data from this environment, you get the data from this environment and this environment. We can use any traditional ETL tools, like you may use SSIS, or you may use your Informatica, or you may use your data stage. Lot of ETL tools were there, but this was on premises ETL tool. Your own tool you need to install in some other server. You need to buy hardware, install SSIS. So SSIS can, the beauty is that it can talk to Excel, it can talk to your SAP machine or a .NET machine, or it can talk to your SQL or Oracle machine. It can bring the data, all the data we were cleaning in the staging area, all the data again we are going to be dumping. We are going to be creating a platform called a data warehouse. Clear? So that was a story you need to understand. What is a data warehouse? It is a large server. Hardware is very, very big hardware you're going to be using. You're going to be installing a SQL software. SQL means, if you understand, SQL means I'm talking about RDBMS. RDBMS means what? Oracle, SQL Server. You have Teradata, MySQL. So one of the software is going to be installed in the larger hardware, and you will be able to store it here, right? So you will be able to get the data. So daily data will be, or monthly ones, you will be able to get the data, and you take the data from Excel, SAP, SQL, all the data you're going to be loading into the your data warehouse. Warehouse is a go down. Clear? So warehouse is a go down. I wanted to take a large amount of data and create one platform. This is what is going to be called as historical data, or it is what is called as OLAP data. Clear? So already in my existing videos, I spoken about what is OLTP, what is OLAP and everything. I'll be talking about data warehousing concept, everything later once again. So don't worry about it. So what is ETL means in simple terminology? ETL means which is a software which can get the data from different source systems, especially OLTP systems, and it is going to be exporting and loading the data into your data warehousing. So in simple terminology, so what you do, you will be able to get the water from the buckets. This is one bucket, this is one more bucket, this is one more bucket. You are keeping all the buckets of water data, putting it to your drum, your tank, right? So daily you go and collect the water from the tap or from the tanker. Government of India supplying the water. You don't have any water. Daily morning you go get water in a plastic bucket, silver bucket, some buckets. So the fresh water will be collected, and you're going to be putting the water into the drum. Again, you'll come back and take the water. So Excel, SAP, SQL, these are called very fresh data, and this containing fresh data and small amount of data you will have. And when these buckets are full, what normally we do, we are going to be maintaining a tank or a large drum at your place, and you're going to be storing the data into that drum or a tank. So that is called as a data warehouse. Data warehouse is nothing but a large data, large hardware is there. But what kind of a software we're going to be installing? SQL software we're going to be installing, means Oracle and everything. It is going to be accommodating only structured data. Okay, all the data is here, so you can maintain your data warehouse. So data warehouse, this is what is called your data warehousing server. So data warehousing means you can understand a bigger computer where you have 100 terabyte of hard disk is there, you have 10 terabyte RAM is there, and 1,000 processors are running. Daily data from Amazon.com or Twitter.com, wherever you have some data, all the data of the company will be putting it here. But remember, it is completely structured data. Clear? So if you wanted to get the data from the sources, and if you wanted to maintain the data in the structured format, structured means you need to understand SQL. SQL means you need to understand here data warehousing. Clear? If you install a SQL software or RDBMS software in my laptop, I'll say that I have installed SQL software in my laptop. But if I buy a large hardware and install SQL there, I'll be talking about I have a SQL data warehousing server, means it can accommodate large amount of data. So data warehouse, the problem is that you can store only structured data. And the SSIS problem is that it can deal with only few built-in sources. So these are the disadvantages. Data warehouse will also have a small, large amount of terabytes of data it can store, but only it can deal with what structured data. But today, environment is changed. In the today's environment, so people are talking about lot of unstructured data, lot of semi-structured data. So people are talking about tweets, okay? Lot of tweets from the Twitter, right? Lot of social media photos we are going to be sharing. Lot of chat messages you will have. Lot of social media chats. You have meetings, or you have lot of logs are getting created in the machines and applications. All this data is so much of a data you have it in the all over the world. Unstructured data, semi-structured data we have. So when you are talking about this is our entire globe, okay, entire globe data when you take it, so entire globe, only 20 to 30% of the data is your structured data, right? So this data may be in Excel files or maybe in, in SQL. So all this is a structured data. Structured data means rows and columns data. This is only 30% of the data. This data you can store and create in your data warehousing, and you will be able to analyze the data. So this is what is called business data. So structured data will be available in your business, right? Social media is not a business, right? Twitter is not a business. So anybody can go and tweet. Anybody can go to youtube.com, upload your photos, pictures, social media. You have a large amount of data that is unstructured data. So structured data can be stored only in the data warehousing. So how do you store all the data from these machines? You're going to be using some ETL softwares. All the data you're going to be taking and keeping into this. So this is nothing but a SQL again. So only 30% of the data you can handle with the help of ETL. So here we are going to be using SSIS. Now you're happy. And after that, what you do, you create a Power BI reports and you can analyze. So this is what is called as a business intelligence or business analytics. It means what? You're going to be taking the structured data, and you're going to be loading the data with the help of ETL, extracting the data from different sources and cleaning the data, loading into data warehousing. But what amount of data you're going to be dealing? Only 30% of the entire globe data I'm talking about. So remaining 70% of the globally, the data is available in the semi-structured data, right? You may be having XML files, JSON files. You don't understand what are they, but you should be able to understand that XML files are there, JSON files are there, right? You have unstructured data. You have your photos, videos, chat messages, lot of data you're going to be having, social media tweets, lot of data is there. But who's going to be analyzing the data? Who's going to be cleaning this kind of data? Are there any tools which can interact? The answer is no. We cannot use SSIS to get this kind of a data. And where do you store this kind of a data? Because in the data warehouse, I can create a table. Now, if there is a chart message or if there is a tweet, right? So the tweet is not available in a column and row format. So you will not be able to create a table and store the data. For the storing semi-structured data, unstructured data, or you have a lot of photos, a lot of pictures, a lot of audio clips, MP3, MP4, lot of X-ray files, all this data you will not be able to store in the data warehousing. Data warehousing is there to store large amount, at least terabytes of data, but structured data. But how do you store this kind of files data, semi-structured data, unstructured data? So there is one more concept got introduced. That is what is called a data lake. Clear? So one more concept is got created, what is called a data lake. So data lake where you will be able to get this kind of a data and deal with this kind of a data. Now, I wanted to extract the data from here and load it. So I need to have modern ETL software where you will be able to use your ADF here. Clear? So ADF can deal with, ADF also can talk to your data warehouse. If you have a structured data, you can also get the structured data with the help of ADF. You can store the data into the data warehousing. If you have unstructured data, semi-structured data, you can also use ADF and get the data and store it into the data lake. You will be able to get the images, audio files, video files as it is, and you will be able to store them in your data lake. So data lake is going to be storing structured, not structured data, semi-structured data, unstructured data. So data warehouse is going to be storing purely structured data. Data warehouse will have a software called SQL software. Clear? So now today I wanted to have one kind of ETL software where I wanted to get complete the structured data. I can deal with unstructured data. I can deal with semi-structured data, and large amount of data. I should be able to store it. So you can go to data lake or you can go to data warehousing. So these are available in your Azure or in your AWS. Clear? So when you go to AWS platform or Azure platform, you can also go rental data warehousing. Also, you can go and get a Azure data lake, or you can also get, Amazon data lake. So data lake can store your files data. You have MP3 files, you have let us say photos, pictures, audios, videos. Now, how do you assume data lake? In simple, layman's understand, data lake is your OneDrive or your Google Drive. In the Google Drive, what you can do, you can store your MP3 songs, you can have your photos, you can have your CV, everything can be uploaded in the Google Drive and OneDrive. What is the advantage? It is cheaper. So instead of keeping everything in your local drive, you're going to be creating a Google Drive, uploading the data. It is online. Wherever you go, it is there. And you can download, you can keep it. Data lake is nothing but your Google Drive only. Clear? So, but it is there in the cloud platform. Cloud means somebody is going to be managing that. You need to pay rental. So when you go to Google Drive, I have created a Google Drive. Up to 2 GB, it will be free, but I'm storing more than 2 GB, 2 terabytes of data of space I'm using. Every month rental amount I'm going to be making to Google Drive. So Google Drive is a data lake to you. Clear? So today, all the data you will not be able to accommodate not only in the data warehousing. So data warehouse, if you wanted to implement, take the structured data, perform ETL operations, all the data from mere data from Excel sheets or maybe from SQL, from other systems, you can perform ETL operation like SSIS and you can create a data warehouse and use it. But today, we are talking about unstructured data, semi-structured data, where your traditional or existing SSIS cannot deal with. This a data lake environment, a cloud environment. It cannot deal with unstructured data, semi-structured data. SSIS is going to be failing. Clear? So SSIS is going to be failing. It has limited connections. It does not deal with the data lakes. It does not deal with the unstructured data, semi-structured data. And that is the big issue. That is the reason why Microsoft has to introduce few more technologies called a data lake. Data lake is not a Microsoft technology. It is, one more IT company is introduced, and same technology Microsoft is using in Azure. Now, people are using in Amazon, Google Cloud. People will be saying, I have a data warehousing, I have a data lake. Data lake is nothing but your Google Drive, where you can store unstructured data files as it is. You can store it, and MP3, MP4 files as it is you can store. Then after that, you're going to be computing the data, processing the data, then do lot of, either you can perform AI or ML, or you can perform data analytics here, or here also you can perform AI or ML, or you can also have data analytics application can be connected, and you can create a lot of data analysis, or AML ML means a lot of predictions you can do it. So if you wanted to work with data analytics or AI or ML, you have to get the data, clean the data. You should be able to store the data locally and use it. Now, we are talking about small amount of data here. So what normally we do, we get the structured data. We are going to be performing what is called as a ETL. ETL means what, Nana? Extracting the data. Transformation means clean the data. And you are going to be loading all the data into the data warehousing. So in simple example, I always give, you go to shop number 1, buy some vegetables. You go to shop number 2, buy some more vegetables, tomato, potato, like. You go to shop number 3, you buy chicken, milk, blah, blah, blah. So what you do, you perform some ETL operations. You go to shop number 1, shop number 2, shop number 3. You get them, you clean them, and all the vegetables you clean them, you're going to be keep them in the data warehousing. So data warehousing, I will be calling this as a fridge. That is what I told you. You buy some vegetables, raw vegetables, 1 kg, 2 kg vegetables you're buying. You come, you bring them, you will be able to, clean them, and you're going to be keeping them in the, refrigerator, because we're talking about small amount of vegetables. You can clean them. Transformation means clean. Get the potato. If half of the potato is not so good, you cut that. or you peel the potato, soak them in the salty water, keep them in the refrigerator. You get the carrot, you neatly wash them, put them in the data warehousing. You get some leafy vegetables, clean them. You're going to be keeping everything in the refrigerator. Transformation, you can do it before storing it. This is what is called ETL, because we're talking about small amount of vegetables. Clear? But if somebody gives you tons and tons of vegetables, not 1 kg, somebody is giving you 100 tons of tomato, 100 tons of potato. Do you think that you can clean those tons and tons of potato, tomato, and you can put them in the cold rooms? Answer is no. So when you have a large amount of data here, 70% of the data we are going to be bringing, you never clean the data. What you do, you're going to be performing ELT operation. What is the meaning? You extract the data from this, get the data from different fields, tons and tons of tomato, potato you're going to be bringing. You simply load them into the cold rooms as it is, because you cannot clean them. It is raw data as it is, you store it. Then before using AI application, data analytics application wanted to use, before that you're going to be clean the data and using it. This is what is called ELT. ELT means what, Nana? ETL cannot be performed because so much of data volume is so much, we cannot clean the data and put them in the cold rooms. It will be impossible. You need to have big labor size. You need to have it more and more cleaning purpose. You need to have bigger yards, empty yards. That will take a lot of time. When you have tons and tons of data is there, ETL cannot be used. So ETL is good when you wanted to deal with the 1 kg of potato, 2 kgs of potato, 20 rupees, you have leafy vegetables, you can bring them, clean them, you can have them, because small amount of data we're talking about. But in the another example, I'm talking about somebody is giving you 100 kg of potato or 100 tons of potato. Do you think that you can clean them? No, 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 no. You're getting from farmers. So one region from where you're bringing lot of potato, lot of tomato, lot of leafy vegetables are coming. You cannot clean them first. So basic cleaning you do, you extract the data, you load the data as it is in the data lake. So then before you use it, before you're going to be consuming, so where are we going to be consuming? Either you analyze the data, you do the predictions. Consume means in that only, right? So we are going to be performing what is called as a ELT, extracting the data, loading the data, transforming the data. This is also one more interview question. What is a ETL, and when we are going to be using ETL means only if you wanted to work with the structured data and a small amount of data. I'm talking about every month I'm getting 200 GB, 500 GB of data every month I'm getting, then ETL is very, very good. But here I'm not getting small amount of data. Every month I'm going to be getting 500 petabyte of data, zettabyte of data, yottabyte of data. This kind of data is called as a big data, big size of a data. I cannot clean it, but still I need to get the data from the social media, twitter.com, facebook.com, or you have social media, all the data I wanted to bring it and I wanted to store it here. Okay. After storing it, I wanted to use it for my usage. Then I will be able to clean the data, use it. That is what is called ELT. Clear? So when you're dealing with the big data, so big data means I'm talking about 70% of the data. Clear? So it may be in terabytes of data only, but no, big data means we're talking about a petabyte of data, zettabyte of data, yottabyte of data. That is the data we are going to be getting and we are going to be storing. So when you have so much of a data, only data lake cannot be used, only data warehousing cannot be used. You have to use both of them. So both of them you can have on premises, or you can also have the cloud environment. So now everybody is going to be using a cloud environment to get the data from different sources. And if you wanted to park the data, so we are going to be using what? ADF. In the ADF you may use ELT, extracting the data as it is, load it and store it. Then data is available in the destination. Then later what you do, you will be able to perform the transformation before using it. So before using the potato, what you do? You get the potato from the cold room. Now you clean it. Now what you do? You're going to be cutting and creating a potato uh, sabji or potato food, and you're going to be consuming it. So that is what you need to understand. So today we can deal with a small amount of data. Data warehousing data will be available in your data warehousing. Data warehousing can be deal with the terabytes of data, right? But when we have unstructured data and semi-structured data, that kind of a data, if you wanted to store, what kind of a technology you have it today in the cloud environment? Data lake. Data lake is nothing but your Google Drive, or you can say your OneDrive. It is an online platform or a cloud platform. Cloud, Google Drive is a cloud. Instead of storing your movie in C drive or D drive in your computer, if you store your movie in your Google Drive, what is the advantage? You can say, friend, hey, I'll give the permission, you watch the movie. I have downloaded and uploading into Google. You can watch it. It is available everywhere and it is cheaper. So data lake is the concept got introduced early in the 2000. Okay. So data warehousing, it was there in 1990s onwards. Clear? So we are going to be today uh, using a combination of these technologies. Today, people are talking about data lake house. Data lake house. House means a data warehouse. So people are combining a data warehouse and the people are combining a data lake, and the people are going to be telling you we have a data lake house. That is a new concept. So the people are using data lake house means nothing but your data warehouse. It can store structured data. Behind the scenes, you have a SQL is installed in the cloud. You may have Oracle installed, SQL installed, all the data can go to that house. That is a data warehouse. You have unstructured data, semi-structured data. It is a big data. So it is going to be storing in your data lake. Clear? So like that, you need to understand. So people are introducing new technologies. People are talking about new things. But today, ADF is introduced not only to deal with the structured data, you can also create a data warehousing. But if you wanted to deal with the different data lakes and semi-structured data, unstructured data, then you wanted to store big data. So big data, I'm talking about that kind of a data you will not be able to accommodate in your normal computers. You need to better buy the big infrastructure. Instead of buying big infrastructure, you take the infrastructure from the rental environment. So Azure can give you Azure Data Lake. Azure can give you Azure Data Warehouse. Clear? So or AWS can give you AWS Data Warehouse, or AWS can give you AWS Lake. Clear? You can use the ADF, and ADF can get the data from anywhere. It may be structured data, unstructured data. You will be able to load the data into the cloud like Azure Lake, Azure Data Warehouse you can use, or even you can create your own data warehouse. Azure also, if you don't have a warehouse, cloud Azure, cloud data warehouse, you can also maintain your own data warehouse. You will be able to store the on-premises data warehouse also. That is also fine. So Azure does not says that I will only talk to cloud. It never says that I will not talk to on premises. So data can be anywhere, data can be everywhere. It can be plus structured data, unstructured data, small amount of data, big amount of data. So Azure can handle, Azure ADF can handle, but SSIS has a lot of limitation because SSIS is created only to load the structured data. SSIS is released before cloud is released. SSIS is not very good to deal with them. Azure, the cloud sources and cloud destinations. Azure, SSIS cannot work with the you know uh, uh, other data, varieties of data like unstructured, semi-structured. It cannot use it. So did you understand why people are using ADF? ADF is also an ETL tool, more toward it as a ELT tool. Why ELT? Because a large amount of data when you have, you cannot perform ETL. You can do ETL. There is no, you can extract the data. We have a lot of transformations in ADF. We have a lot of transformations in SSIS as well. When you have a small amount of data, you can also perform ETL operations here. But why we are not performing ETL operations? Because getting the data, transformation means cleaning the data, loading the data, impossible when you're dealing with tons and tons of data. Instead of what you do, you get the data, load 100 tons of potato first in the cold room, then tirigga, whenever you get a time, open the potato bags and clean it and use it. So that is how we need to understand what is a ELT, what is a ETL, what is a data lake, what is a data warehouse, and what are the problem with SSIS and what are the issues with the SSIS, and why people have to use ADF Azure Data Factory. So any ETL tool is going to be used to extract the data, to clean the data, to store the data. So in 2006 you have AWS Azure came, then ADF is released in 2015. Clear? So this is a cloud ETL tool. ETL tool means extracting the data, transforming the data. You may perform ETL operations or ELT operations. You may store the data in data warehousing, or you may store the data in the data lake. So in the storage of Azure, we will be able to talk about a lot of things. Azure SQL. SQL means a database. So Azure SQL you can store, or you can create a data warehousing data. SQL means data warehousing, right? Because it is a structured data. So what is a data warehouse? Data warehouse is nothing but your size is a bigger size, and when you store historical data of the company, and the large database it is, and when you have read-only data. So what is a database versus data warehouse? If you wanted to know, I will give you a data warehousing videos for free. In that, you will be able to understand what is a data warehouse, because you need to understand from very, very scratch. So as of now, I'm telling you, data warehouse means a large database. Database means it is there in SQL only, right? So it will be a large database where a company's data is going to be stored over a period of time, and it is read-only data. You may have up to, in a single data warehouse, you can have up to 100 terabytes of data. Clear? So that is the average size I'm talking about today. So structured data, semi-structured data, where are we going to store? We are going to be storing either in the data lake, and if you have bigger size files, so there is a Azure data lake we can use, or there is a large amount of files if you wanted to store. We have a specialized Azure blob storage. These are the two things are there. So these are two nothing but your Google Drive. Remember that your Google Drive, OneDrive is nothing but a Azure Data Lake, Azure Blob Storage. Blob means binary large object, like bigger video files, bigger audio files, right? So bigger images you would like to store. Instead of storing a data lake, Blob will be very, very good. We're talking about this kind of a storage available. Even if you have a structured data, even Azure is going to be, if you have a structured data, if we have a structured data in Azure, we can have Azure SQL, or you can go in for Azure data warehouse. Data warehouse nothing but which is there inside the SQL only, a large database. That is what you need to understand. So these are the different storages are available if you wanted to store the data locally in the computer. But who's going to be storing the data? Now I have some data, right? Who's going to be getting the data? You have lot of tweets data, okay, lot of Twitter data, lot of structured data, you have it, lot of tweets, lot of charts data. Let us talk about social media data. You have to take it, you have to dump it, all the data you need to take it, you have to dump it. And Amazon company is telling, or iPhone company is telling you, iPhone companies running a business, they have a lot of sales data in the structured format. So this is there in the a large database. Clear? So they have released iPhone 15 model. Many people are commenting in the Twitter. Many people are commenting in the social media charts, Facebook charts. They're giving a lot of feedback about the iPhone. Camera is not so good, very costly. Look and feel is not so good when you compare with the 14. They're giving all the data, not directly to the Apple company. They're simply charting in the social media. They're simply charting in the Facebook. They're simply charting in the Twitter. But this data belong to Apple company. So Apple company can use ADF technology. So whatever be the data that they require, they are not talking about any other data. They are interested towards their own products data. They wanted to collect it. So some data they are maintaining, all sales data is here, but the feedback data is not available. So all the data, what they do, they will be able to all the sales data they will be able to keep it here. So they will have product models and everything. All this data, what they do, they are going to be storing in the data lake. So whatever be the charts, whatever be the feedback, whatever be the tweets that they're able to get it, they need to go to the Twitter, they need to go to Facebook, they need to go to this, because Facebook and Twitter will not give their data to Apple company for free. Apple company Apple company has to give a lot of money. Then only they will be able to give their feedback. It is Apple company feedback, but given in the Twitter company. So Apple company will be able to say, hey, you give me permission to get your data from your Twitter. So Twitter will say, you give me this many feedback, this much of a feedback we are storing. So I will give you all the data, but pay me this much amount. I'll give you your data. So Twitter will sell a lot of tweets. So it is going to be taken by the Apple company and going to be loading all the tweets, all the charts will be loaded first. They don't transform anything. So it is ELT. They will be able to put it like this. And using this data, they may perform AI or ML analysis, or they will be able to analyze BA, business intelligence or data analytics can be performed. Clear? So this is how you should be able to understand. So this is what is called your Azure Cloud here. Clear? So you may get any data not only from the structured way, but also you will be able to get the data from in different ways. Clear? In which you're supposed to collect your data and create a lot of analysis. So what is BI or ML means? BI, data analytics, means you're going to be understanding the past. AI and ML means you're going to be doing a lot of predictions, right? So you are going to be predicting the data. What would be my sales? Clear? In next year, in the next model, what could be my sales in India? You can predict the data. What kind of a feedback I may get it if I change my iPhone, or if this is the camera I have released, what kind of a feedback I got it? If what is that, the things I need to change it. So all these things you can predict, and you can change the design settings and everything. Then you can release, right? In the next release. So all these things can be implemented. So with the help of this data only. So AI ML engineers are going to be using your data, or BI or data analytics people are going to be consuming data. So getting the data from here, cleaning the data, storing the data, keeping the data here. So who's going to be doing this activity? This activity will be done by the data engineer. So that is you, right? So data engineer should know SQL very well. You have to know ETL process very well, or ELT process very well. You have to know data warehousing very well. You have to know what is a data lake very well. You have to know cloud concepts very well. You have to know data modeling concepts very well. You're going to be creating Azure platform or AWS platform. You may create a data warehouse. You may create a data lake, and all these things we have to know, so that BI people can use Power BI, can create a reports, and AIML people will be using Python and machine learning algorithms, and they will be able to predict. So data engineer is the guy who's going to be supplying the data to the AI guys or ML guys, or data analytics Power BI guys also can get the data. So without a data engineering team, AI is not going to work. even business analytics is not going to work. So you may have the data in the cloud platform. If you don't have the cloud, simply you can maintain your simply on-premises data warehousing. So in that also you have to know SQL, ETL, data warehousing, and data modeling. So data engineering is the guy who will be able to deal with the different varieties of data, different on-premises infrastructure you have to know, SQL knowledge you have to know very well, data warehousing, data lake, Azure concept, cloud concept you need to know very well. So you will be able to work with the any data. So that is the reason data engineering is also booming technology today. Clear? So if you wanted to become a data analyst, data engineering plus if you learn Power BI, you will be able to become a data analyst. If you learn a data engineering plus A and ML, you will become a data scientist. Or if you learn purely data engineering course, data engineering means data warehousing, data lake concept, SQL and ADF. And we have one more concept called ADB. Then we are talking about a lot of unstructured data, semi-structured data. You should know data lake. When you're dealing with the big data, you have to know big data concepts also. A lot of other things you need to learn. So you'll become a data engineer. Clear? So data engineers are very, very important role that companies are going to be playing today. So you have to know base is SQL. Without SQL, don't come into IT industry tomorrow. If you wanted to become a data scientist or a data engineer or Power BI developer, data analyst, the basic is SQL. You have to know in depth of SQL. We don't have the live classes in SQL, but I have created a lot of SQL Server videos, and you can buy those videos and practice them along with your Azure concepts. Clear? So this is what is called data engineering. So this is what is called the introduction to cloud and what is ETL and what is ELT, what is a data lake and everything I have introduced. Hope you are able to understand this. Any questions? If you have it, I will be able to take it. So this is the last demo. We don't have any other demos. You will be able to continue further. So if you wanted to learn ADF, so this is only ADF class. ADF will be for 30 days. Once ADF is over, so we will be talking about ADB. If you wanted to enroll for both, you can enroll, or you can enroll for one course now. So whenever ADB starts, Azure Data Bricks. So I did not give any intro about that. So that is also one more ETL tool, and where you need to know the coding. ADB, Azure Data Bricks is a ETL tool again, but where you need to write coding, SQL coding or Python coding or PySpark, Spark coding you need to have. So you need to understand big data concepts, right? What is a big data? I will be able to talk to you in the EDF itself. So don't worry about it. So Azure Data Factory, Azure Data Bricks, you have to know, plus big data concepts you have to know, Python, PySpark, SQL you have to know if you wanted to deal with ADB, Azure Data Bricks. But if you wanted to learn only Data Factory, SQL knowledge is sufficient. Nothing else is needed. Okay, I spoken about. So what is Azure? What is the cloud? What are the different apps are available within the Azure? As I told you, Azure is not a single software. It is going to be having collection of services. I gave you one example yesterday. If you go to Apollo Hospital, you will get kidney department, nephrology department, cardiology department, pulmonology department, plastic surgeon. So you'll have lot of services Apollo is going to be offering you, Apollo Hospital. So Azure is just like Apollo Hospital. You will have one ADF. This is one service. ADB is one more service. Data lake, just now I'm talking about. To store the data, do you have anything? Yes, we have a Google Drive kind of a thing, right? So Azure functions, Azure this one, Azure SQL, right? Lot of things are there. Even Azure SQL or Azure data warehousing. So a lot of things are there in Azure. Azure is a collection of services. 200 services are there. So you can go to cardiology, pulmonology, nephrology, or you can go to eye doctor, normal physician, dental doctor, any service you take, you need to pay the extra amount in Apollo Hospital. Azure is similar to your Apollo Hospital. It will give you a lot of services. You use something, you need to pay it. Clear? So I'm going to be using one service like ADF. It is going to be extracting the data, storing the data where? Either in SQL data warehouse, or you may store the data in the data lake or blob storage. Clear? So that is what is ETL, ELT discussed. What is data engineering also I have discussed. Clear? So this is what is the course. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we don't have any classes. Saturday, Sunday, we don't have any classes. Monday, this meeting ID is going to change. So you will be able to get the payment links today. You can just make the amount for the ADF now, and you can continue further. So whenever ADB starts, you can make the payment for the ADB later and continue further. Or if you make the payment for both courses, you will get the further discounts. So that is also fine. You can talk to my team, and I'm going to be covering sample CVs and some projects. I will plan and give it to you so that you can work ADB plus some real-time projects also. Let me plan and I can share it with you. Interview questions and placement assistance and everything we're going to be supporting in India. You have to face the interview, right? We are not going to be giving you proxies and nothing. I'll give the complete knowledge in layman terminology so that you will be able to understand it very, very clearly. Azure Data Engineering, especially ADF, does not have any programming, and even ADB, basic Python or basic, coding, if you know, along with the SQL, you will be able to understand it. So why cloud means less budget, reduced cost, less maintenance, no downtime, right? Somebody is going to be maintaining high availability, scalability. You can have lot of data centers will have, you can duplicate the data, because if one data center is down, you should not say that my application is not working. You need to have one more data center will be ready. As an independent guy, you cannot maintain many data centers. You cannot maintain many data centers. So if there is a third party, means they can maintain a lot of data centers. If one center is down, so you can quickly take the data from the second data centers. That is what is called data replication. I'll be talking about this concept later. Okay. So data engineering, I told you, because we are not talking about today data scientist role, data analyst role, but also we're talking about data engineering role. SQL is the must, and AIML, if you know, then you will become a data scientist along with the SQL, Azure, blah, blah, blah. Data analyst means you need to learn Power BI along with SQL and ETL and everything. Okay. So ADF is released in 2015. It is Azure service. So big data requires service that can offer retail services or ELT services. ADF extracts data from Azure data lake, blob storage, and it can also keep the data, and it can deal with the unstructured large amount of data. So this kind of data is called as a big data, and Azure can handle it. Azure ADF can handle it. So easy when compared with, again, SSIS. SSIS is also easy, but the ADF is even more easy when you compare with SSIS. Clear? So disadvantage of SSIS: cannot load semi-structured, unstructured data, not suitable for cloud, not suitable for big data. So big data means you need to remember always two things: unstructured data, semi-structured data. Limited data sources are available. On-premise solution, it is, we can create a on-premises data warehouse and load the data. So that is one disadvantage of SSIS. Okay, so clouds, I spoken about Amazon, Google Cloud, and Microsoft. Azure is having more than 200 plus services are available. One of the services is ADF. Like that, we have ADB, Databricks, and we have Azure Blob, Azure SQL, Azure, HD Insights. Lot of things are available. So you can also give the coding here and using a PowerShell, but that is not important. You need not have the PowerShell. Okay, so these are the different services: Azure storage, relational, NoSQL, big data. Lot of applications are available within the Azure platform. Okay, so I'll talk about what is IaaS, infrastructure as a service. All these things I'll be talking about in the Monday's class, and I'll be able to, continue further. Okay, guys. So I'm going to be stopping this. From Monday, I'm going to be telling you what is the course content for the Azure. I think it is already published. But if you wanted to know what is the course content for the Azure ADF, I'll be talking about in the Monday's class once again. And after that, we will be able to create a account in Azure. Then we'll try to play with the ADF. Anybody can learn ADF if you're having basic SQL commands. What is insert, what is select, what is a query, how to create a table. If you know, anybody can understand ADF. ADF is a very, very easy, no programming, no coding tool, right? ADB, Azure Data Bricks, where you have a Python coding or Spark or PySpark coding is needed. So that is also not very complex. Python is similar to your English. Anybody can learn Python within 20 days, 30 days time. So if you wanted to get into Databricks, I strongly recommend you can also buy our Python videos and practice them for at least 20, 30 days for the Python so that you are going to be ready for the Azure Data Bricks course. So ADF and ADB, and plus if you have synapses and a lot of other concepts are there, when you learn, you will become a Azure Data Engineer. So let us take one by one, one by one. ADF is for 30 days, ADB for 30 days, and you will become a data engineer. You will have a lot of opportunity. The salary package are going to be coming, starting with for 3 years of guys, 12 lakhs to 20 lakhs of salary package you can get it in India if you want to become a Azure data engineer. SQL is the backbone for data analytics or AI or data engineer. So watch my SQL videos, buy them from my company. So call my team, so they will be able to give you SQL videos. I'll give you SQL software to install it. You can install it. I will help you with the software and everything. Install it, practice SQL, and parallelly also you will be able to attend Azure Data Factory. Once it is over, you can take Python class and just go for the Python, then join with the Azure Data Bricks as well. Clear? So that is the thing, guys. So if you have any questions, you're welcome. Machinda, did you like this class?